Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be listening from. I just want to say thank you for showing up. Today, I have prepared for you a few questions and answers based on what I have gotten this week. And I am Scarlo, the fibromyalgia recovery specialist. I help those with fibromyalgia learn to live a low to no pain life, in particular, helping the women who need help with living a low to no pain life. Does that mean I discriminate against men? No, by no means. I am totally open to all people. So, one thing I wanted to touch on that I was very aware of is in the past, I've touched on how illness can affect fibromyalgia and affect life and cause flare-ups. What I wanted to clarify on this is that friends, family, coworkers, as well-intentioned as they might be, they can also be a trigger. Not intentionally. Remember, I said for all good intentions that they might have in their heart to be there for you, to help you, to encourage you, they actually might end up discouraging you. And the last thing that I would want to do is say that they're wrong or anything like that, because maybe in their hearts they don't feel that they are wrong. But when they come at you, they might come at you in a way not knowingly and affect your body to kind of cringe and to kind of give like an anxiety, like your nerves start to act up a little bit, or maybe you find that you can't even function. And I have talked with a couple of women who have been through this, where their family and their friends, they want them to move, they want them to function, they want them to get out there. And the more they push, the more the family and friends, coworkers push, the worse the situation gets. The best way to do that is for us to back away from the situation, to breathe, and to acknowledge ourselves in ourselves. The fibromyalgia, yes, it is there, but we have to make a decision. Is the fibromyalgia going to have us, or are we going to have the fibromyalgia? The whole point here, the whole point of this whole channel is to help you to where you have the fibromyalgia under control, where you are in control of your life. I should say, you are in control of the fibromyalgia. You have a life that's worth living, worth being a part of society. And sometimes it's a matter of walking away from some of those people that are pushing and causing those anxiety and those tensions. So can they cause a flare-up? Yes, they can, unintentionally. And sometimes it's best to just turn away and take a time out for you. Just acknowledge that, yeah, they are they meaning well-intentioned, or are they not quite getting it? Now, this channel is meant specifically to help with fibromyalgia and to help with understanding it, helping with coping, helping with living a low to no pain life, really. And the whole point is to not only help those with fibromyalgia, but help the friends, family, and coworkers to understand it so that they can help those with fibromyalgia to say, whoa, just a second, what's going on and how can I help? And it might be a needing for a timeout, a time to regroup, to reassess the situation. So I'm saying, from the person who has it perspective, to take a time out for you, become aware of your situation, accepting it, and then being able to acknowledge, okay, is this situation stressing me out because they don't understand, because they are giving me a hard time? Just being aware of the situation so that you can bring those flare-ups down and calm them down. Now, another question I got, can a cold cause a fibro flare-up? The answer is yes. Cold can cause a fibro flare-up. Not just colds, though. any kind of illness can cause a fibro flare-up. That means health conditions. That means anything that is under the sun, stressors, health issues, you name it, they can cause a flare-up. I mean, it's a stressor. Your body naturally has gotten to where you stress out and you react. And because the challenge that you have is being able to get out that challenge or that stressor and letting it go rather than internalizing it, because that's basically what it is. It's internalizing all of those stressors, and having to learn how to handle it can be a real chore. Coming from somebody who's dealt with that already. And I did double check that with doctors as well as the stressors about friends, family, coworkers, job, and life. I've double checked this with doctors, and they are all in agreement that it's a mental, a lot of it's mental and emotional and spiritual and physical. It manifests into the nerves and into the body and causes flare-ups. So it's a matter of working on a way of managing. Colds, there's usually a naturopathic way of dealing with those, be it lemon ginger tea, whether it be just a tea in general. There's typically teas that can take care of that naturally without having a major issue. Warmth, staying warm, staying cool, taking off blankets if they're hurting or if they're keeping you too warm, which brings me to something else. I think I passed this in a different video, but I'm going to really hone this in even now, that you can get hot all over your body, feel hot like you have a fever, and they check the fever and there is none. That's part of fibromyalgia. So I do recall last week that I shared some questions and answers from a doctor, and that was one of them. Now I'm remembering. So another one is, can you be active with fibromyalgia? And could it cause a fibro flare? The answer to both of those is yes. It's a pain in the neck. Okay, so that's like it's a pain in the neck in, speech type thing. But in real truth, you can be active with fibromyalgia, but here's the caveat with that. You can be active to an extent, because the more active you get, the higher the chance of a flare-up. You're saying, what? Yeah. So the challenge here is to find the sweet spot. Because if you stop being active, your body will tense up and you won't be able to function. And that's not what you want either. You want to be able to function. You want to be able to move, get active, be social. That's the whole point. Living a low to no pain life, you got to be social. You got to be active. It's a part of life, If you're not active, if you're not social, you're not going to have a very fun-filled life. Truth be told. So here's the other truth part of it. The point is to move, being aware that you're going to hurt a little bit. And this, by the way, is how I got to where I am now, living a low to no pain life. Okay. I got active to the point it hurt just enough to where it was a struggle, and I stopped for a little bit, then moved some more, and then stop a little bit, move some more. And this works with fibromyalgia or flare-ups. Yeah, truth be told. Okay, so you might be asking, well, if I'm moving and it hurts, I can't function. Yeah, you can function. It's not gonna hurt you. Been here, done this, because I remember when I was active, really active, and it hurt so bad. I was like, I can't function. It's gonna hurt me. And the doctor came back and said, no, it's not. That's the beauty of fibromyalgia. It makes you think it's going to hurt you, but it's not. And that brings me to my last one. I have heard so many people say, the fibromyalgia almost killed me. The fibromyalgia is going to kill me. And the answer to both of those is no. Fibromyalgia does not kill you. Fibromyalgia is not going to kill you. Now, the effects of fibromyalgia, they mind. Now, let me clarify the effects of what I'm talking about here, okay? The effects of fibromyalgia, I'm referring to health issues. And the health issues that I'm talking about are internal. They have nothing to do, the internal issues are like heart issues, lung issues, organ issues, colon issues. I'm talking IBS, IBS-C, I'm talking any of those health issues, lung disease, I'm talking heart disease, I'm talking leg issues. These are all underlying conditions that can cause fibromyalgia because you're not dealing with it in a good way. Now, let me clarify that because that makes it sound like it's your fault, and that's not where I'm going at all. Okay? When you're reacting to these health issues, there's a reaction where you internalize, and that's what a lot of people with this syndrome do. We internalize, or there's a reaction where we let it go. And you're thinking, how do I let it go? I know I did. I was like, what? Let it go? How? Well, that's where it's taking time out for you to breathe, to relax, and to accept the situations, accept the health conditions, and say, okay, now what? And working together with your team of medical professionals. Now, I love working with medical professionals. That's like one of my glory things. And it's not because I am a medical professional. Quite the contrary. If you followed me in the past, if you listened to anything I've said, the truth of the matter is that I wanted to be in the medical profession. I just can't do the vaccines, and therefore it takes me out of the picture. However, due to this new thing called virtual visits, there's chances of getting involved with medical, even though I don't have the vaccine. So I love to work with the medical peoples and helping those with fibromyalgia be accountable so that they can live that no pain life. Does it take time? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to give you just kind of a guide to kind of get an idea. One lady told me this last week that she was cured of fibromyalgia. And I have to say, no, you weren't. You might be clinically considered not with fibromyalgia. Now that I can give. The reason why they would consider you clinically not with fibromyalgia any longer, even though you've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, is because you no longer hit all of those spots. So you have 18, you hit 11 to be classified fibromyalgia. So maybe you don't hit those 11 points anymore. Doesn't mean that you don't have fibromyalgia potentially to come back. It just means that you've learned how to cope. It means you've learned how to deal with situations and the health issues and so on. You've learned to overcome. And in that sense, you're an overcomer. Congratulations. That's awesome. But in real life, once your nerves have had it, it's a matter of learning to work with it. And this has been told to me by doctors. It's a matter of working with it. It's a matter of keeping it under control. And it's a matter of taking day by day and dealing with those stressors. So in my particular case, I'm going to take my story right back to the bare basics, okay? Because I'm having to deal with fibromyalgia on a daily basis right now. Because I am having, as many of you know, that I had a surgery. And so now I'm having the after issues, the aftermath of dealing with the fibromyalgia. Okay. Back when I was originally diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I was in a wheelchair. I was in a wheelchair for I want to say 6 months, but I feel like it was a little bit longer than that. And I kept switching between wheelchair and walker. And the cool part is, if you have a manual wheelchair, you have a walker too. But there's cases where you might be better off with just a walker or with a wheelchair. But with a walker, you can build up the stamina that it takes for your muscles and for your body, mind, body, and spirit to work together as that full circle wheel. As I've talked about in the past, you have to have that wheel moving in a circular rather than bump, 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 because one area of the body is not working in cohesion with the other. So my whole point here is that I am back at the wheelchair, working with the walker concept, and I know that it's going to take time. I've already been told by the therapist that I can't do steep hills. Do I want to make them a liar because they told me it would be a year? Yeah, I do, because I know that I can. I just don't know when. They say a year. I'd like to make it sooner. Reality is, I don't know if it's going to be possible, but I know that I'm going to be trying. Now, the reason why I share this with you is because I think those with fibromyalgia might be able to relate with some part of the story. Okay. I can't be with friends, family, and coworkers, even though they've asked me to join with them. They've encouraged me to be a part of them. Some of them have actually been critical and like, we can hardly wait, and why can't you just move? And you're using it as an excuse. And the thing is I'm like, until you have my ankle, don't talk to me about excuses, because my ankle actually has caused the rest of my body to have a fibro flare. And I went to my physical therapist, and she was one of those who kind of got on me. And I'm like, until you see those 45-degree heels that you told me not to take, don't talk to me about it. Because the doctors, the therapists, they only have what they have available at hand. So if what your scenario is not the same as what they're talking about, it can end up being a total collision course. And it's not intentional. It just is what it is. So being aware of your surroundings, being aware of what they're after, and acknowledging in your mind, in your spirit, in your emotion of where you're at, and being okay with it is a big deal. Now, I promised last week that I was going to post some videos on work-related stuff. I'm still in the process of finding some really good stuff to be posting. One. Secondly, I'm working also to do some activities that can potentially help with growth and strengthening those muscles that are weak, movement of arms, movement of legs, staying functional. I have to do video and then post it up. So like, this is the only time I'm live. Otherwise it'll be posted. It'll be doing videos, and I'm looking at starting to bring on some actual professionals who deal with fibromyalgia, who help those with fibromyalgia, but I'll be doing video recording until further notice when I learn how to do lives, because I really do want to get the podcast going. And they say that you can separate the volume from the video, and I haven't learned how to do that yet. So I'm like, I'm going to just do it recorded, and that way I can post it here. You guys can grab what you need from here. And I'm also going to start a podcast. As I mentioned last week, I was going to look at doing a podcast. I'm going to do a podcast. I already have a laundry list of people ready to be guests on it. So there you go. Anyhow, until next week, have a wonderful, blessed weekend, and may you live a low to no pain life. Take care.